I was looking through Amazon the other day, just scrolling through the coloring books as I like to do, and I came across a brand that stopped me for a second. Not because their books were complicated or overly designed, it was actually the opposite. They were simple, really simple. Clean pages, bold outlines, very easy to color, the kind of books that you would almost assume wouldn't be doing so well. But then I clicked onto the author page, and that's when it got interesting, because it wasn't just one or two books. It is a full range, a full series. Same style, same feel, just repeated across different themes. And when you start really looking at these books, you realize that this is a business that has been built with purpose. So in this video, I want to walk you through it properly. We're going to break down the brand, the books, how they've structured everything, what they're likely making, and why something this simple works so well. Now, if you are new here, I'm Caroline, and I'm a self-publisher who has been creating and selling books on Amazon KDP for over 7 years. And on this channel, I show you how to do the same. I want to show you something that will hopefully completely change how you look at self-publishing, because most people are still thinking about this the wrong way. They're thinking about one book, one idea, one upload, and then they sit there refreshing their KDP dashboard and wondering why nothing is happening. But then you come across brands like this, and it's a completely different story. This is a coloring book brand that has built out a full series of books on Amazon, not one or two, a proper series, a full range, a recognizable style. And when you start looking into it properly, this isn't just someone uploading random books. This is a real business. So what I want to do in this video is break this down with you. We're going to look at the brand, the books, the style, how they're structured, as I said earlier, what they're likely earning, and more importantly, how they've built something that actually works long term. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly how to approach this in a way that actually gives you a real shot at making money with it. All right, so the brand that we're looking at today is Southern Lotus. If you open up their Amazon bookshelf, the first thing that stands out is just how consistent everything looks. It doesn't feel like random books thrown together. It feels like you're looking at a brand that knows exactly what it's doing. And that's the first shift you need to make in your head. This is about being a publisher. Southern Lotus isn't a person sitting there making one book every few months. It's a brand that's built around a very specific type of product and then repeated over and over in a very structured way. They publish adult coloring books, but not the complicated, highly detailed ones that you might be thinking of. Their books are simple, bold lines, clean pages, very easy to color, the kind of thing you can sit down with for 10 minutes and actually feel like you've finished something. And that's not accidental. That's a very deliberate decision, because when you look at the market, most people buying coloring books aren't looking for something difficult. They're looking for something relaxing, something that feels easy, something that gives them a break. So instead of trying to impress people with intricate designs, they've gone in the opposite direction and focused on simplicity and comfort. And that's exactly why these books work. Now, when you do scroll through their bookshelf, you'll notice something else. The themes are consistent, and they're capitalizing on what's popular and trending right now. They're giving the market what they want. You see cozy scenes, everyday moments, cute characters, relaxed lifestyles. It all fits together. This is what creates brand recognition. Someone buys one book and they enjoy it, and when they come back to Amazon, they'll instantly recognize the next one. Same style, same feeling, same experience, and that's what leads to repeat buyers. This is where a lot of people go wrong. They jump from idea to idea. One day it's a mandala coloring book, the next day it's kids puzzles, then something completely different the week after. There's no connection, no structure, and no reason for someone to come back. What Southern Lotus has done is built a product line. Each book feels like part of a collection, even if it's not officially labeled as a series. And that's important because it means every new book that they release strengthens the ones that are already there. So let's take a look at some of their books. Their current best-selling book is this one, Fuzzy in Love. This is a super cute coloring book with really cute characters drawn in that fuzzy style of art that is really popular now. It does have a bestseller rank of 2,966. So selling extremely well. Another book that they have that sells really, really well is the Little Friends coloring book. Another super cute coloring book. Also, I love these sample images that they've provided. The colors and style that they've used on these coloring pages is so beautiful. It's a similar cute kawaii style of coloring pages, and this one has a bestseller rank of 5,809. So another one doing really well, really consistent. And then they have this sweet cutie coloring book, which is one of those bold and easy style of coloring books where the images are almost childlike, but they are designed for adults who just want something super, super simple to color. This book has a bestseller rank of 6,724. Now, in total, they do have almost 250 coloring books. They published their first coloring book back in 2022, so they have been building this for the past 4 years. Now, let's talk about sales, because this is the part everyone wants to know about. I know it's the part that I love knowing about. So when you look at their individual books, some of them are ranking quite well. Others sit a bit higher, others sit a bit lower. That's normal. And I'd say this is a fairly average kind of brand. By that, I mean they don't have books in the top 100 or even the top 500 or 1,000 of all books on Amazon. They aren't on the level of, say, Coco Wyo. Not every book is a bestseller, but that's not how this works. You don't have to have bestsellers, especially when you're building a series of books. You rely on each book to just add a little bit more and a little bit more until it all builds up at the end of the month. So the real money here comes from the series and the catalog of books that they've built up over the years. Let's see if we can get an idea of how much this self-publisher could be making each month from these books. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all 248 of their books to work out the royalties. So I have just gone through their top 10 books and I use the bestseller ranks to work out how many books they might be selling each month, which will then tell us how much royalties they could be receiving each month from these books. So just remember, this is for only 10 of their books and they have 248. So these top 10 books are selling around 3,440 copies each month, which means the royalties are sitting at around $13,500 each month from those books. And I think this is great because I think this is a very realistic brand and series of books to look at and use as inspiration or motivation on what can be achievable. You don't have to be some big brand or some big publisher with hundreds of artists at your disposal. I think this is a very realistic thing that most people can do for themselves. If you've got one book selling a few copies a day, that's not too exciting. But when you've got 20, 50, 100 of these books all doing the same thing at the same time, it adds up very quickly. And that's exactly what's happening here. Even if each book is bringing in only a small royalty per sale, the volume across the entire series and brand creates a steady stream of income. And I think this is where a lot of people really underestimate low content publishing because they're out there looking for the one big win, where the real strategy is building something that compounds over time. And because these are physical books, they're printed through Amazon, the margins are lower than something like an ebook, but the trade-off is simplicity. Amazon handles everything: printing, shipping, customer service. You focus on creating the product and the platform does the rest. Now, I really want you to pay attention to something here. These books aren't actually complicated to create. They're simple illustrations, consistent themes, clean layouts, and it isn't about being the best artist in the world. It's about understanding what people want and delivering it in a way that's easy to repeat. That's the business model. Now, when it comes to branding, they've done a really great job at keeping everything cohesive. The covers look familiar and like they belong together. The titles follow a similar style. The overall feel is consistent across the entire series. So when someone sees one of their books, it doesn't feel like a random product. It feels like part of something bigger, and that's what builds trust. Now let's talk about marketing, because this is where things get interesting. Most of their success is happening on Amazon itself. The covers are doing a lot of the work. The keywords, the categories, the way the books are positioned, all of that feeds into Amazon's system and helps these books get discovered. And this is something that you do need to understand properly. Amazon already has the traffic. People are already going there to buy. Your job is to put the right product in front of those customers. Now, when it comes to marketing off Amazon, there is a presence here. It's not the core of the business, but they are doing all the right things to help position themselves as a serious, legitimate business and brand in the coloring book niche. They have social media accounts on all the best platforms for coloring books. They have TikTok, which is the best driver for sales of coloring books and some other low content books at the moment. They have Instagram too, and they're just posting videos and images of their coloring books being used, being colored in. Now, they also have an active Pinterest account, and they also have a Facebook group, which members can join, a private group where people, I'm assuming, can share their coloring images once they've completed them. They don't have massive followings or subscribers. I mean, it's pretty decent. It's not a small amount of followers, but also it's not massive, but they are on these platforms and they are active, which is important. And that tells you something important. You don't need a massive following to make this work. But at the same time, if you do want to take it to the next level, here's the next thing that you would do. Because right now, all of this is sitting inside of Amazon, which is great for sales. but you don't own any of it. You don't own the customer, you don't have their email address or any of their contact details. You can't build a direct relationship with them. And this is where having your own website changes everything. If you were building a brand like this properly, you'd want a place where people can go beyond Amazon. Somewhere that you can show your full range of books, offer digital downloads, build an email list, maybe even sell your own products directly. Just like Southern Lotus, they have a beautifully designed but simple website that showcases their books. People can click through and purchase a physical book from Amazon, or if they would prefer, they can purchase a digital version direct from the website. People can also sign up to their email list so they can be contacted to share other coloring books. You can do something like this for yourself and your own books using Hostinger, and they have a tool called Horizons that lets you build a full website using AI, which makes this process so much easier than it used to be. I personally use Hostinger for my self-publishing brand websites. So what I'm going to do is show you how you could take a brand like this and turn it into a proper website in just a few minutes. So with Hostinger Horizons, you get everything in one place. A website builder, domain, hosting, email, and marketing tools is designed to be simple and fast, which makes it perfect for creators and side hustlers just like us building an online presence. One of the things I really like about the starter plan is that it includes a free domain, which makes getting started so straightforward. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So if you want to create your own website alongside with me, then you're going to want to click the link down in the description box below to go to Hostinger Horizons. We're going to select the starter plan because this gives us the ability to create an online store so that we can sell things like digital versions of our coloring books or complementary products and accept payments for those products directly on the website. To get the best pricing available, you choose the 12-month plan. It is cheaper than paying month by month, and it will lock in the best monthly price. And it runs on AI credits. So you're basically using credits to generate and update your site as you go. It's very straightforward once you're inside of it. I do have a coupon code for you to use as well to get you an even better price. So make sure to pop that in before you check out to get the 10% discount. Also, Hostinger do have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it out totally risk-free. Something else that's really helpful when you are creating a website for your self-publishing brand is that Hostinger hosting includes a free domain name for the first year. So go choose yourself an amazing domain name that matches your brand name, and then we can get to actually building our website. So it is actually so simple. You basically start by describing what your brand is. So for something like this, you'll enter a prompt describing a cozy coloring book brand that sells physical books on Amazon, digital coloring pages, and has a calm, relaxing aesthetic. Then AI builds a full site for you. So the Horizons tool is an AI tool that you chat with. You go back and forth with it until it understands exactly what you want to build. So it's just asking some questions that I'm going to go back and forth with it about until it has everything that it needs. And then it can start building the website once it has clarified everything. So we can see it's creating the website for us. It's writing all this code in the background, which I have no clue what it means, but that is the great thing about this is you do not need to know what the code means. Horizons is doing it all for us. And this isn't just a front-end website either. You can actually add things like user accounts, saved data, even file uploads. So if you want people to create an account, save their favorite pages or download and store coloring pages, you can build that straight into the site without needing anything complicated in the background. After chatting with the Horizons AI agent, we've gone back and forth a little bit. What we've got now is a homepage, product sections, about page. Everything has been structured in a way that actually looks like a real brand. So from here, we can tweak it if we need to, add your books, link them to Amazon, include downloadable coloring pages, and most importantly, add that email sign up so you're actually building an audience over time. And if you do want to sell directly from your website, you can set that up as well. You can connect payments. So whether that is digital downloads, bundles, or even your own products, people can buy straight from your website without leaving it. You can also upload your own images and use them as backgrounds, which makes a really big difference for something like this. If you've got a cozy, soft aesthetic, you can carry that all the way through your website so it actually feels like your brand and not just a generic template. Now, before we do move on, if there's any little tweaks you want to make to any of the content, we just click this edit content button here, and that will allow us to change any of the wording so that it matches our branding exactly. But when we are done and happy with this, we can click publish and get our website out there so people can start finding it, finding our books and finding our brand. And how amazing does that look? Within literally 10 minutes or less, I have a fully functioning professional looking website. And it just means you go from uploading books and hoping people find them to building something that people can come back to again and again. If you're serious about turning this into a real business, having your own space away from Amazon makes a huge difference. I'll leave a link to Hosting Horizons down in the description box below if you want to go try it out. All right, let's come back to Southern Lotus. And the reason that this business model works so well is because it's simple and repeatable. You're not creating something completely new every time. You're building on what already works. One style becomes multiple books. One idea becomes a full series, and over time that builds into something that actually generates consistent income. And the demand for this isn't going anywhere. People are always looking for ways to relax, unwind, switch off. Coloring books sit right in that space. So when you approach this properly, you're not chasing trends, you're building something that has ongoing demand. Now, if you are sitting there thinking about how you would actually like to start something like this, it comes back to a few key decisions. You choose a clear style, something that people will recognize instantly, like the cute and cozy or the bold and easy style. You choose a specific angle, cozy, cute, funny, whatever direction you want to go in, but you just commit to it. And then you build a series of books around that idea, not just one book, a series, because that's what turns this into a business. And as you add more books, you start to see the effect. One sale turns into a few sales turn into daily sales. As your series grows, so does your income. That's exactly what brands like Southern Lotus have done. They've taken a simple idea, executed it well, and repeated it consistently. Most people want fast results, but this is built through consistency. And if you approach it like this, if you treat it like a real business instead of a one-off book, you're going to give yourself a completely different outcome. So if you've been thinking about getting started with this, or you've already tried and it hasn't worked the way you expected, I want you to come back to this and look at it differently as something that you build over time. And that's where this starts to get really exciting. Now, if you did enjoy this video, YouTube thinks that you might like these ones too, so please go check them out to learn more about self-publishing your own low and medium content books on Amazon. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.